Uncover the shocking biblical truth about garlic's epic spiritual power. You won't believe this. In a world overflowing with secrets, one humble bulb stands at the center of a storm of history, belief, and spine-tingling power. Garlic. Yes, that everyday seasoning. But don't be fooled. This isn't just your grandma's go-to flavor enhancer. Legends whisper of its ancient, mystical ties. It's said that garlic could ward off evil spirits, boost your immune system, and even bring good fortune. Can you imagine? Just one small clove packed with that much potential. As Sarah Adams peeled back the layers of this pungent marvel, she stumbled upon shocking truths that would rattle the very core of her existence. Sarah was just an average woman, but she felt drawn to the lore surrounding garlic, the stories her mother used to tell her about it keeping the vampires at bay. Her intuition kicked in as she noticed strange things around her town. Folks casually mentioning their garlic gardens always seemed to radiate good vibes. The elderly are particularly fond of garlic soup, claiming it fights off the lingering ghosts of illness. But more than that, it had an air of mystery. It begged to be uncovered. Just the other night, she overheard Mr. Jenkins at the diner rambling about a garlic festival that showcased not only the culinary but the spiritual uses of garlic. The way he described it made her heart race. Parties and rituals intertwining with garlic. What secrets were hidden beneath its papery skin? Questions spiraled in her mind like smoke from a burning candle. Was there a connection between the garlic-infused dishes and the joy that seemed to fill the air? Why did she feel so alive just thinking about it? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As Sarah's journey unfolded, she decided to visit the festival. The scent of roasted garlic wafted through the air, mingling with the laughter and vibrant colors of booths adorned with intricately crafted garlic bulbs. A spark of excitement ignited within her, but that spark did not come without a hint of dread. Whispers danced on the wind, people claiming they could see visions when garlic was involved. What kind of visions? Were they messages from beyond? Anxiety twisted in her gut. She stood before a booth draped in crimson fabric, where an old woman with piercing eyes beckoned her. The woman's hands were calloused, but they held a garlic necklace that glowed as if it contained the secrets of the universe. "This will reveal the truth," she said, voice raspy but captivating. Sarah's breath hitched as a lump formed in her throat, terrified and thrilled. What truth? What would she find out? Would she unlock the epic spiritual power buried in garlic? Could it truly change her life? The air was thick with anticipation, and her destiny was just a heartbeat away. What awaited her in the shadows of the truth? The moment Sarah reached for the glowing garlic necklace, a sudden chill swept through the festival. The vibrant chatter around her faded into a heavy silence, as if the world was holding its breath. The old woman's eyes locked onto Sarah's, a knowing glimmer dancing within them. "Are you ready?" she whispered, her words like a pinprick of electricity skittering along Sarah's spine. What did being ready even mean? This was just garlic, after all, wasn't he it? But as Sarah hesitated, the weight of the necklace seemed to grow. It pulsed with a rhythm that echoed her heartbeat, begging her to make the choice. "Put it on," urged the woman with an intensity that sent shivers down Sarah's arms. Without another thought, Sarah took the necklace, feeling the cool texture of the garlic bulbs against her skin. It was different from anything she had ever experienced, a fusion of comfort and apprehension. As she secured it around her neck, the air thickened with a scent stronger than ordinary garlic. It was almost intoxicating, swirling around her with whispers of ancient shadows. Sarah caught glimpses of images flickering like candlelight in her mind, visions of people celebrating, joy painted on their faces, garlic-infused feasts full of laughter. Yet there were darker shapes lurking just beyond the light, figures veiled in shadow, their intentions unknown. Suddenly, a loud clap of thunder echoed in the sky above, pushing the air with an ominous energy. The festival lights flickered. People froze mid-laughter, a universal gasp rippling through the crowd. Sarah's heart raced, tiny beads of sweat formed along her brow. "Do you see them?" the old woman asked, her voice barely perceptible under the weight of the sudden storm. Sarah's breath quickened as she nodded slowly, fear flooding her veins. She was wrestling with what felt like more than just visions. These were revelations, deep truths battling to escape into the open. The old woman leaned closer, her face now a mere breath from Sarah's. "You are chosen, but this power comes at a price. Listen closely." Before Sarah could respond, the vendor next to them, a man selling garlic-infused soap, suddenly dropped his wares, his eyes glassy as he began to shake. "What's wrong with him?" Sarah shouted, panic lacing her words. The crowd shifted, eyes locked on the man who now convulsed violently, as a low moan escaped his lips. "Get back! Clear a space!" The old woman barked, pushing Sarah away from the chaos, but her grip remained firm on Sarah's shoulder. As people screamed and ran, the heavy atmosphere filled with confusion and disbelief. What power had Sarah unleashed? The necklace pulled at her like a lifeline, filled with promise and peril. Something shifted within her, a flicker of strength amidst the fear. Was she truly chosen? Were the whispers of garlic more than just fanciful tales? Suddenly, the man fell still, and silence swallowed the festival. With heart pounding, she turned to the old woman, searching for answers. But the woman had vanished into the chaos, leaving only the garlic necklace glowing faintly against her chest, its secrets bound in shadows she could now barely comprehend. What was she meant to do next? Would she embrace the truth hidden in garlic, or would it twist towards fate she didn't understand? The festival seemed to tear itself apart around her, filled with frantic voices and frightened faces. And now, more than ever, she felt the burning need for answers. What awaited Sarah in this unfolding nightmare? The stakes had been raised, and her journey had taken a dark turn. Would she find the answers she sought, or had she unwittingly opened a door best left closed? A tense stillness gripped the festival as chaos erupted just moments earlier. Sarah stumbled back, her heart madly drumming in her chest. The garlic necklace felt alive, pulsing against her skin in tandem with her racing heartbeat. Flashes of shadowy figures danced in her mind, their silent whispers biting at her consciousness. She couldn't shake the urgency of the moment. She needed to understand what she had stepped into. Panic was palpable in the air. People jostled for space, looking for escape as fears ignited like a wildfire spreading through the crowd. Sarah's eyes darted around, searching for clarity. Where had that old woman gone? With each breath, the oppressive scent of garlic lingered, thickening her chest with a kind of inexplicable pressure. "Sarah! Over here!" A familiar voice called through the turmoil. It was Jenna, her friend from childhood. After what felt like an eternity, Sarah glimpsed her friend, her eyes wide with concern. "Are you all right?" Jenna rushed forward, eyeing the necklace with a mix of awe and dread. I don't know." Sarah stammered, glancing back toward the motionless vendor. "Something happened. I put on this necklace, and then he just fell," she thought, but the words lodged in her throat. How could she explain to Jenna, or even to herself, what was unfolding before them? "People are losing their minds. We have to get out of here," Jenna said, gripping Sarah's arms tightly. "No. Not until we figure this out. I have to know what it means." The determination in Sarah's voice shocked even her. "Are you serious?" Jenna's eyes widened. "What if it's cursed? What if you open something dark?" But deep down, Sarah felt the truth calling to her. The necklace's glow was no longer just a charm, it was a beacon, drawing her into something profound, something ancient. "I think it's me. The necklace chose me." As the noise of the crowd crescendoed, an eerie hush fell momentarily, leaving behind the echo of Sarah's revelation. The air shimmered with electric potency. "Look!" Jenna exclaimed, pointing to the ground where the vendor had collapsed. Instead of blood or injury, a strange pattern formed on the dirt, twisting like vines, pulsating with the same rhythm as the necklace. "Is that garlic?" Sarah whispered, squinting to see closer. The shapes writhed under the chaos, intermingling with shadows, begging to be acknowledged. "Believe me, Sarah, this doesn't feel right," Jenna warned, glancing over her shoulder as if the shadows were creeping closer. "You need to take that thing off." But Sarah felt the urge like needles in her veins. She wanted answers, to confront the shadows lurking out of sight. "No. Something is happening. I can feel it deep inside me." It was then the thrill of terror surged through her, and the line between fear and exhilaration blurred. The festival wasn't just a gathering, it was a battleground, and she was at the center, the torchbearer of an ancient truth. Before she could lose her resolve, Sarah slipped away from Jenna's grip and stepped forward. She made her way toward the swirling pattern on the ground, every heartbeat amplifying the tension in the air. The crowd's gasps echoed as a gust of wind swept through the square, extinguishing the festival lights and leaving them in the dim glow of the necklace. Shadows loomed larger, whispering secrets to the night. Suddenly, a shriek split the darkness. Sarah spun around to see a figure emerge from the tent cloaked in shadows, eyes burning like embers. "Your recklessness has consequences, chosen one." It hissed, voice crackling like thunder. Sarah felt the weight of their gaze, the judgment, the power of what she had unwittingly unleashed. What did that figure want from her? What was the true price of the necklace she now wore? Questions spiraled in her mind as the darkness closed in, urging her to unravel the secrets that held the fate of the festival and perhaps the world in its chilling grip. Would she be able to face the truth that lay ahead, or had she ignited a nightmare beyond her understanding? The answer awaited in the shadows. The air thickened with tension, suffocating in its intensity. Sarah stood frozen, the necklace glowing fiercely against her chest. The figure's eyes dug into her soul, illuminating a path of dread that felt all too familiar. She could sense the crowd dwindling, their fearful gazes fixated on this dark entity. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice barely a whisper. "I am a guardian of the veil," the figure replied, smoothing back a hood that concealed more than just their face. "You have invoked the spirits of old, and the balance has shifted. Darkness can taste your essence, and it craves more." Panic surged within Sarah. The words unraveled in her mind like a fast-rolling film reel. Invoke? Spirits? What had she unleashed with just one decision? Jenna's grip on her arm tightened. "We need to get out, Sarah," she urged, eyes darting between the figure and the swaying shadows, but dread morphed into fascination. "No," Sarah said, defiantly stepping closer. "I have to know what this means. What are these spirits?" The figure straightened, shadows whipping around like wild currents. "You wear the key to an ancient power. The garlic wards off evil, but it also binds you to its will. It is a curse and a blessing, a beacon for those who seek to harness its strength." The wind howled, carrying echoes of whispers that seemed to hiss in Sarah's ears. They spoke of bloodlines, of forgotten histories buried deep within her ancestry. It was as if the ghosts of her past were unraveling before her, beckoning her to uncover truths long lost. "Are you saying," Sarah began, her heart racing, "this necklace is a part of my heritage?" "Your blood has awakened the spirits of your ancestors," the guardian replied, voice booming with authority. "They will guide you or consume you. Choose your path wisely." Fear clawed at her chest, but adrenaline ignited her resolve. "I need to learn. What do I have to do?" "Meet me at the edge of the festival grounds at midnight. There, you will face the choice of light or shadow." With that, the figure spun and melted into the shifting darkness, leaving nothing but the echo of their thunderous words. Jenna pulled Sarah back, panic stretching across her face. "You can't. You don't know what you're getting into." "Maybe that's the point," Sarah replied, her voice firm. She could feel something brewing within her. Whatever this was, it wasn't just about the festival. It was deeper. Listen, Jenna pleaded, her voice wavering. You're not a warrior, you're just a girl. What if this goes wrong? Sarah swallowed hard, nerves crashing at the forefront of her mind, but deep down, she didn't want to ignore the pull of destiny. What if it goes right? We can't run from this. I'll go with you. But we need a plan, Jenna said, uncertainty lining her features. Investment was clear in her eyes, even through the fear. A sudden tremor shook the ground beneath them, causing a collective gasp among the remaining onlookers. A gust of wind spiraled, sweeping up festival debris and swirling around them like a cyclone of despair. Shadows clamored closer, whispers now taunting. They were aware, they were watching. Time is running out, Sarah breathed, her heart pounding at the thought of meeting the guardian. She felt the weight of the necklace anchoring her to this moment, to this choice. Would she summon the courage to embrace the truth of her legacy? Or risk losing herself amidst the darkness threatening to swallow her whole? As the shadows closed in tighter, Sarah knew she had no choice but to ready herself for the midnight hour, where fate awaited. Would she unravel the mystery of her lineage or become just another lost soul claimed by the shadows? The festival's fate and her own hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of revelation. The sun dipped low, painting the festival grounds in shades of crimson and gold, a stark contrast to the darkness creeping around the edges like a predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Sarah's heart pounded, a relentless drum echoing the urgency pulsing through her veins as she and Jenna navigated through the waning crowd, their laughter and joy fading into a distant memory. They reached the edge of the festival grounds, the distant flicker of lights a deceptive comfort. Shadows deepened in the trees, and Sarah felt their chill. This place, it feels different, she murmured, glancing at Jenna, who nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. We shouldn't be here, Jenna said, desperation tinging her voice. This isn't a game, Sarah. It's dangerous. I know, Sarah replied, her voice steadier than she felt. But I can't back down now. Something is calling to me. As the clock ticked toward midnight, they found a clearing, a small circle where the grass was untouched and the air felt electric. The breath of the forest surrounded them, filling Sarah with a strange mixture of dread and anticipation. Maybe we can hide, just until we figure this out, Jenna suggested, her eyes darting nervously into the darkness. But it was too late. A haunting silence enveloped them, the murmurs of the festival drowned out, replaced by a heavy stillness that pressed down on Sarah's shoulders like a weight. Suddenly, from the opposite side of the clearing, a flicker of light appeared. It danced like a flame, beckoning her with pulsating allure. Sarah felt her skin prickle as it drew closer, revealing the figure from before the guardian of the veil. They stood before her, more imposing than imagined, the shadows swirling like a storm around them. Welcome, Sarah, the guardian intoned, voice echoing, reverberating through her bones. You have made your choice. What choice? Sarah demanded, her throat dry. You said I would have a choice. Indeed. The choice between embracing your legacy or rejecting it. You stand at the precipice of transformation, a journey that calls upon ancient spirits that lie within your blood. Jenna trembled beside her. What if she can't control it? You don't understand. But Sarah's resolve hardened. I need to know. Show me. A swirl of shadows converged, coalescing into figures from the past, faces she recognized from old family photos. Their eyes shimmered with unearthly wisdom. The guardian gestured, and a formidable presence enveloped Sarah. She gasped, a rush of memories flooding into her mind, laughter, sorrow, and love intertwined with terror and pain. Navigate this realm with clarity, the guardian warned, as the shadows whispered secrets only she could hear. But tread carefully, each spirit you awaken demands a piece of your soul. What do you mean? Sarah's voice quivered, an icy knot forming in her stomach. She felt the weight of countless eyes watching her from the void, stirring a primal fear. The powers they offer come at a price, one that could plunge your very essence into darkness. And then, in an instant, the warmth of familiarity morphed into chilling fear as the shadows began to twist and churn violently. Fragments of voices filled her mind, screaming, pleading for release. The pull of her heritage was undeniable, yet horrifying. "Sarah, look out!" Jenna shouted, as the shadows surged forward, consuming the light around them. Time slowed, and it felt like the world around her faded into oblivion. As darkness wrapped around her, Sarah realized she was standing on the edge of a decision that could reshape her existence forever. Then, the guardian stepped closer, eyes ablaze with intensity. "You must choose now. Will you embrace the darkest parts of your lineage, or will you fight back against the beckoning shadows?" As the chaos intensified, the air thickened, swirling with anticipation. The whispers grew louder, drowning her thoughts. What would she decide? With moments to spare, Sarah took a deep breath, ready to confront the obvious truth before her, a truth she feared more than anything. Could she face the horrors buried within her? A split second hung in the balance, and suddenly it felt, even to her, like every heartbeat was intertwined with the fate of the festival around her. What lay on the other side of her decision? Would she emerge from the shadows, or be consumed by them? The moment was closing in, and as her resolve swung between fear and defiance, Sarah knew one thing for certain: whatever happened next would change everything. A violent gust of wind howled through the clearing, threatening to sweep Sarah away just as the shadows danced dangerously close to her. The darkness pulsed with an unholy rhythm, beckoning, taunting. She felt the eyes of the spirits upon her, anguished, desperate for liberation. Panic clawed at her throat as she glanced toward Jenna, whose fear-laden expression mirrored her own turmoil. "Sarah!" Jenna cried out again, gripping her arm tightly. "You need to choose. Don't let them take you." The Guardian's form shifted, intimidating and powerful, the air thick with magic and dread. "Remember, child. Each spirit you choose to awaken will carry a burden. They can grant you strength, wisdom, but at a cost." Sarah's heart raced, pounding like a war drum as she weighed her options. The shadows twisted and curled around her, cold tendrils wrapping around her feet like vines. Her heritage shimmered before her, offering both temptation and terror. Would embracing her darker legacy give her the strength to protect Jenna and herself? Or would it unearth horrors she couldn't control? A sudden flicker of light broke her concentration, a warm glow cutting through the abyss. From deep within her, a whisper emerged, a memory she thought she'd buried. Images of her grandmother, a strong woman with fierce eyes, a protector of their family traditions, ones that held the keys to their lineage. "Do it," the voice urged, igniting a fire within. "Find your power. Don't shy away from it." "Sarah." Jenna's panic cut through the darkness. "You can't trust them. You have to fight." And in that moment, Sarah understood. She had been afraid of what she might awaken, but now she recognized that fear was a part of her lineage too. The strain between love and horror, light and dark echoed within her. "Whatever you choose, I will stand by you." Jenna shouted, her determination radiating through the rueful shadows. With a shaky breath, Sarah stepped forward, each movement stirring the shadows, awakening the spirits. They surged forward, dark tendrils wrapping her tightly, pulling her into their tempest. Instead of resisting, Sarah closed her eyes, allowing the memories to flow freely: pain, joy, anguish, hope. Suddenly, clarity struck like lightning. She reached deep within herself, her grandmother's power mingled with her own. Yes, embracing this darkness meant dancing with danger, but it also meant harnessing a strength she never imagined. "Enough." Sarah's voice boomed, cutting through the cacophony. "I choose to embrace my lineage, every dark thread woven into my soul." The shadows faltered, the tortured screams of the spirits mingling with echoes of her own heartbeat. A whirlwind of memories whirled around her as a blinding light circled her and the Guardian. Their faces shifted, flickering between anticipation and dread. "Then you've made your choice," the Guardian spoke, their voice now a complex tapestry of approval and warning. You will unlock the potential within, but be prepared for what comes next. The shadows don't relinquish their hold easily, and now they know you seek their power. As the last word echoed, the ground beneath them rippled violently. The shadows showed no sign of retreating. Instead, they began transforming into ethereal figures brightly glowing and shadowy, exuding both fear and promise. Sarah! Jenna screamed, grasping her hand tighter, crushed by fear and uncertainty. What have you done? In response, Sarah felt the pulse of energy thrumming through her veins, raw and electrifying. She couldn't back away now. She had taken the first step down a dark path, and shadows whispered the truths of her ancestry. What would she gain? What would she lose? As Sarah initially reveled in her newfound power, the ground split beneath their feet, threatening to swallow them both whole. The world around them twisted as reality began to change, the festival lights fading into haunting echoes. In that blinding moment, 1,000 possibilities collided, and Sarah realized this was just the beginning. The question was no longer whether she could fight the darkness, it was about how she would learn to control it, and with that realization, darkness and light spiraled around her. But deep in her heart, a truth remained. What awaited them was more than just a challenge, it was a reckoning. Where would this path lead them next? Could Sarah harness the shadows without losing herself to their call? The ground shuddered violently, and Sarah tightened her grip on Jenna's hand. In an instant, shadows erupted, spilling forth like a flood. The ethereal figures twisted and swirled around them, their faces contorted in anguish, their voices a haunting chorus. Release us, they echoed, a plea woven with despair. Jenna's panic-stricken face was barely visible through the suffocating darkness that enveloped them. We need to get out of here. Now. The urgency in her voice scraped against Sarah's resolve. Yet, something deeper stirred within as the spirits clawed at her heart, their burdens palpable and heavy. Wait! Sarah shouted above the cacophony. A flicker of doubt pierced through her newfound confidence. Could she truly control this? She hadn't come this far just to lose herself to the shadows. They were whispering promises, beckoning her to unleash them, to wield their strength. Jenna's voice cracked, pulling Sarah back from the brink. Please. We don't know what they can do. The guardians stepped closer, their figure flickering with a haunting glow. Choosing to awaken these spirits means sharing not only in their power but also their pain. Are you ready? The question hung in the air, charged with an intensity that made Sarah's breath catch. Could she bear the weight of lost souls? The words caught in her throat as the swirling darkness pulsed, sending a chilling wave of memories crashing over her. Lost laughter, unfulfilled dreams, tragedies long buried in the whispers of time. The ground beneath them cracked into a yawning chasm, the abyss now a consuming maw eager to swallow her whole. Jenna! Hold on! Sarah yelled, pulling Jenna closer, ready to leap to safety. But as they moved, the shadows surged and surged higher, clawing into their surroundings, choking out the light. Sarah, please! Jenna's voice trembled, but behind it, something else flickered. She wasn't just afraid, there was something beyond that, a determination that began to awaken in her heart as well. I am strong. I am not afraid. Sarah shouted, feeling the shadows respond to her words, swirling like a tempest. Power hummed in her veins, brighter than fear, but darker than she had anticipated. Every breath felt like a battle, and now, she saw that the spirits, though tormented, were not only burdens, they were a path to salvation. Suddenly, everything stilled. No more whispers, no more cries, it was pure silence. The ethereal figures loomed closer, their empty eyes locked onto hers. In that moment, a choice crystallized before her. If I must carry your torment, then let me fight for your freedom. The shadows pulsed in recognition, their binding hold loosening. Jenna blinked in confusion and awe, her fear momentarily eclipsed by the raw brilliance surging between Sarah and the spirits. What are you doing? She murmured, eyes wide. Your darkness is not all-consuming, Sarah breathed, feeling warmth radiate through the shadowy figures. I will channel your pain but make it my strength. With each word, the shadowy forms began to shift, swirling away from chaos into something more profound. The ground surged one last time, and a brilliant light exploded from Sarah's core, illuminating the clearing. It beckoned the spirits to transform, merging the shadows into swirling wisps of light around her. A rush of energy swept through, burning away fear, grounding her resolve. I can do this, she gasped, breathless, realizing the deep echo of her heritage resonating within her. But beyond the thrill of newfound strength, a flicker of warning pierced her joy. Shadows were transforming, but were they truly freed, or merely awaiting their chance to regain control? Sarah! Jenna shouted, her voice shaking. Watch out! From the flurry of light and dark, something shrieked, a malevolent force rising from the depths, a figure more immense and terrifying than anything they had faced before. The Guardianess' approval faded, replaced by uncertainty. The challenge was far from over as chaos gathered once more, rallying against Sarah's burgeoning power. Can you handle what you've unleashed? The Guardian intoned, their gaze piercing through the storm, with a steely resolve hardening within her. Sarah took a breath. I have to. But as darkness loomed, she knew this was only the beginning. A storm was brewing, and the shadows were angry, desperate for a reckoning. What would this confrontation reveal about her ancestry? Would she prevail, or would the very darkness she sought to control consume her? Eerie silence twisted through the air, thickening as if the very fabric of reality held its breath. The figure before them was a monstrous silhouette, towering and twisted, an abomination formed of the shadows Sarah had just begun to understand. Its eyes blazed like coals in the depths of a dark forest, vacuous yet filled with an insatiable hunger. Jenna's grip tightened around Sarah's hand, panic bubbling in her throat. What is that? She gasped, her voice trembling. The echoes of the spirits now felt like a distant memory, overshadowed by the terror rising before them. I think it's a guardian of the shadows, Sarah managed, her confidence wavering as dread coiled around her heart. The spirits that I tried to free, not all of them wanted to be released. The revelation grounded her, a knot of fear tightening in her stomach. The guardian figure reared back, letting forth a shriek that rattled the very ground beneath them. It was a sound that clawed at their ears, reverberating with centuries of pain and fury. The shadows unleashed, swirling with a violent intensity that threatened to engulf everything in their path. Run! Jenna screamed, pulling Sarah backward. But something inside Sarah wouldn't let her flee. This was her fight now. She had taken steps into a world that was dark and treacherous, and she felt a pull towards the heart of it. Even if her fear threatened to drown her, she had to stand firm. No. Sarah's voice cut through the turmoil as she stepped forward, raising her hands. I won't let you do this. She focused on the light that had implanted itself within her, channeling the warmth and strength the spirits had granted. She could feel their energy thrumming through her veins, blending with her own essence and building into a fierce, brilliant blaze. The shadows writhed and hissed at her defiance, and in that moment, Sarah understood. The shadowy guardian was not only a monster but a reflection of her deepest fears. It was the darkness that lurked in her heart, the pain that was woven into her very soul. Release these souls, she shouted into the storm, conviction fueling her power. You do not own them any longer. As her voice echoed, the air around her crackled with electricity, a force that shook the shadows. A thread of hope sparked between her and the spirits that lingered, whispering encouragement amid the chaos. It wasn't just about conquering the darkness, it was about understanding it. This revelation lit a path in the storm, pushing the shadows back. Sarah! Jenna's startled voice broke through again, shaking her for a moment. Are you okay? I'm drawing it out. Sarah cried, feeling an unfamiliar strength surge through her. The shadows reared once more, twisting and contorting, but they weren't as strong as before. Beneath her resolve, the darkness stretched thin, like a shadow retreating from the dawn, yet just as victory felt within grasp, a chilling wind whipped through the clearing, and the guardian shifted, coiling back into itself, merging with the approaching darkness. The energies of countless tormented souls clashed together, a cacophony of agony and anger. Fight! The Guardian's voice thundered through the clash, promising devastation if she failed. Heart pounding, Sarah bit her lip. She wouldn't back down. You will not consume me. With every ounce of strength, she directed the light within her, drawing it into a radiant sphere that grew with fervor, reaching out to the swirling shadows. The darkness screamed and writhed, battling against her brilliance. But it was not just a fight for freedom. It was a dance of desperation between fear and faith. As Sarah poured herself into that glowing ball of hope, she knew, the outcome of this clash was not just her own fate entwined with darkness, but the fate of the spirits and perhaps something even larger than herself. Just when she thought she could harness the power and break through, a sudden blast of shadow erupted from the ground, obscuring her vision. What is happening? Jenna yelled, panic evident. Sarah! In an instant, everything blurred into chaos. A burst of shadow leaped towards Sarah, the tendrils wrapping around her, suffocating the light she fought so hard to hold. Was this it? Would she fall to darkness after all? A voice echoed through her mind, weak but fervent. Remember who you are, but what does it mean? She was losing grip, the veil of shadow collapsing around her. The truth hovered on the tip of her consciousness, waiting to be unleashed. As the shadow closed in, she grasped desperately for the flicker that still burned within her. If Jenna was right and time was running out, she had to unravel the mystery quickly. With shadows wrapping tighter, she gathered every scrap of her courage. I am not afraid. She screamed, willing the words to ignite the very foundation beneath them. But what awaited her on the other side of that darkness? Did she truly have the strength to break its grip, or was she before a reckoning more profound than she ever imagined? The shadows squeezed around Sarah like a vice, their cold tendrils clawing at her sanity. Fear shot through her, slicing into her thoughts, but in the deepest part of her being, a flicker of determination flared. She could feel the soft, warm echo of hope rising within her. Those spirits she dared to free were with her, their whispers guiding her. Remember who you are. The words pulsed through her mind, urging her to dig deeper, to unearth the inner strength she had yet to grasp. The guardian of shadows writhed, drowning out the energy around her, but Sarah was the light in the storm, and she refused to submit to the darkness. Let go of your fear, she shouted, her voice steady, cutting through the chaos. The guardian hesitated, a flicker of uncertainty sparking behind its malice-filled eyes. Jenna's presence anchored her, a beacon in the chaos. Sarah! You can do this. Her words surged through the madness, fueling the charge within Sarah's heart. The guardian recoiled momentarily, as if Jenna's voice had struck a nerve. With every ounce of willpower, Sarah forged ahead. The sphere of light she had cultivated flickered, then burst forth, illuminating the swirling shadows like a sunrise piercing through the longest night. The shadows hissed, retreating from the radiance, losing their grip on her. Release them. She cried again. All you do is feed on fear. But love, hope, and light, those are stronger. The guardian shrieked, the cacophony of souls joining in a dissonant chorus of fury. Shadows twisted, trying to reclaim their power, but Sarah pressed forward, her heart racing, each pulse igniting the sphere she had summoned. In that moment, she felt their pain and sorrow intertwining with her own. They were lost, looking for a way home, and she was their bridge. The realization swept through her like wildfire, igniting her resolve. Get back! She commanded, thrusting her hands towards the shadowy form. The brilliance expanded, wrapping around her like a protective cloak. You will not take us. And then something shifted. The space around them vibrated with energy, pushing the darkness further back. The guardian screeched again, a sound tinged with anger and desperation. It was battling not just for itself, but for the souls it had claimed. Suddenly, a vision struck Sarah, snapshots of each spirit, faces etched with agony, longing for release. They needed her to pull them out of this torment. But the cost of failure loomed heavy, a dread stretching like a coiled serpent in her stomach, taking a breath, she felt the warmth radiating from within, the flicker of flames growing hotter, brighter. This was not merely about saving herself, it was about finding her courage amidst the dark. Then, with a sudden rush, the shadows roared forth, crashing against her light. The shield flickered just for a moment. Jenna screamed, fear filling her eyes. "Hold on, Sarah. Don't let them take you." But Sarah could feel herself wavering, the sphere of light dimming as the shadows clawed back against her. It was a ferocious onslaught, waves of darkness crashing against her feeble light. The guardian lunged forward, a ravenous beast eager for conquest. "Stay strong. You've got this." Jenna's voice crashed like thunder, shaking Sarah from her despair. In that instant, clarity surged through her, a realization that it wasn't just the strength of light that mattered, but a profound understanding that even darkness housed remnants of the light it once was, and with that, she dug deep, channeling every ounce of courage that the whispers of the spirits had infused within her. The light surged forth uncontrollably, blinding in its brilliance as it tore through the shadow, pushing it back, forcing it into retreat. The guardian shrieked again, twisting and contorting in agony as the light overcame it. But it wasn't vanquished yet, it remained a powerful force ready to launch its final assault. "Sarah!" Jenna yelled, her voice cutting through the ringing in Sarah's ears. "You can't let it take you. Remember what you're fighting for." In the face of it all, Sarah realized. The truth: the fight wasn't just for her survival, but for every soul intertwined with hers in this battle against darkness. She took a deep breath, the air filled with a sharpness that reinvigorated her. "I am light. I am strength. I will break this cycle." And with that defiant declaration, she unleashed every bit of energy she had left, ready to face whatever awaited her beyond the veil of shadows. Was this the day that everything would change? Would she conquer the darkness, or would it consume her whole? The answer hung menacingly in the air as the guardian charged, its tendril of darkness unrelenting and ravenous for her light. The darkness bore down on Sarah as the guardian lunged, a mass of shadows swelling like a storm ready to erupt. A primal fear clawed at her chest, but deep inside, a voice whispered. It was the spirits, the voices of her ancestors urging her to rise. She could feel their presence, a warmth flickering within, intertwining with her own energy. "Now!" she shouted, her heart racing. "I will not falter." She steadied herself as if the ground beneath her feet ignited with power, surging through her like an electrifying river. She focused on the light burgeoning inside, a bright burning sun ready to shine into the deepest dark. The guardian south hunger swirled dangerously close, its eyes glimmering with a void of despair. "You are nothing," it bellowed, its voice like splintering ice. "You think you can defy the shadows?" But Sarah, resolute, swung her arms wide, feeling the energy leap from her being. "I am not afraid," she cried, and in that declaration, she unleashed the light like a blazing comet splitting the night. The illumination exploded from her, radiating outward like a celestial force, enveloping everything in a glowing shimmer that felt alive. The guardian shrieked, a guttural, heart-rending wail as it recoiled against the onslaught of brilliance. Shadows whirled and twisted simultaneously in panic, and for every inch that Sarah advanced, the guardian fell back, losing its hold on the gathering anguish that clung to it. Jenna stood behind her, eyes wide but lit with hope. "You can do it, Sarah. Keep going." With every reaffirmation, Sarah felt strength surging, and the pain of all those lost souls resonated within her, crystallizing into a source of undeniable power. "Release them," she shouted, her voice echoing with the weight of generations. "You will not keep them anymore." Darkness hissed and writhed as if recognizing the truth of her words. It understood it was losing its grip. The shadows erupted, and the guardian's form began to shatter against the light. "No. You are too weak," it howled, desperation threading through every syllable, but its resolve was no match for her fierce conviction. The sphere of light engulfed the area, dissolving shadows into vapor and illuminating the faces of countless spirits hovering uncertainly, watching, waiting. "Guide me," Sarah whispered as memories, faces of her lineage flashed through her mind. Strength filled her soul, she could see them clearly now, grandmothers and grandfathers, ancestors who had fought through strife. Their love gave her courage, their determination fueled her purpose. She felt their hands in hers, a warm embrace mingling with the overwhelming glow radiating through her. As the guardian flailed, losing coherence, Sarah stepped forward, heart racing towards the core of the storm, reaching for the tendrils that threatened to pull her down. She summoned the warmth of hope, wrapping herself in it, turning her vision into a brilliant lighthouse. This ends now. You will be free. Light pulsed faster than her heart, a powerful, cascading wave crashing against the guardian, forcing it back inch by inch. She could sense the turmoil within the shadows as they dissipated into light, the spirits tangled in a dance of liberation as echoes of past power and sorrow broke free from their grasp. They began to intertwine with her, illuminating her path, feeding back their whispers. Then, a thunderous roar erupted from the guardian, a sound of pure rage, but as it lunged in one final act of desperation, Sarah thrust out her hands, pouring everything she had into one sweeping strike, a blinding blast of light. Begone! The explosion of light exploded outward from her, overwhelming the darkness that had consumed the clearing. The guardian's form shattered into a million specks of twilight, swallowed whole by the light, leaving behind only the hushed echoes of their pain crumbling into silence. Sarah's breath caught as she took in the sudden stillness, the air now warm and vibrant. The echoes of the spirits resonated like distant chimes, a soft caress soothing her heart. "Thank you," she whispered into the calm, feeling a smile creep upon her lips. Jenna rushed to her side, eyes shimmering with tears of relief. "You did it. You actually did it." Then, something shifted within the clearing. Spirits blossomed in the fading light, joyful and radiant, overwhelming Sarah and Jenna with gratitude. Faces she had once seen only in childhood photographs danced around them, restoring a sense of unity and love that had transcended time and fear. And then came the softest whisper from the winds around. "You have broken the cycle. You are a protector now, Sarah." In that moment, Sarah allowed herself to feel the weight of their bond. The price of embracing her heritage had forged in her an unwavering light. Their legacy thrummed through her veins, a reminder of the struggle between light and shadow that all must navigate. The power of garlic, the very essence that she had once thought mundane, had revealed to her the profound and ancient truth woven into her lineage. As the festival slowly restored itself, laughter blossomed around them like wildflowers breaking the surface of fresh earth. Sarah looked down at the now quiet necklace resting against her chest. It had fulfilled its purpose. "Are you ready to go back?" Jenna asked, her brow raised in excitement as the festival resumed its rhythm. "Yes," Sarah sighed, warmth enveloping her chest. "And I can't wait to share what I've learned." With a final glance around the now brilliant clearing, glowing in hues of hope and possibility, Sarah took Jenna's hand, ready to face a future painted with their ancestors' rich legacy, a world where shadows never again held dominion, where the battle that she fought unveiled a brighter path ahead, and somewhere in the depths of her spirit, she knew, darkness and light both existed in the dance of the universe, and their true power lay in the choices they made. As hope radiated through her heart, she took a step forward, ready for whatever came next. "Now, it's your turn. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to fuel the algorithm and keep this magic going. Flood the comments section with your thoughts and theories about this incredible journey. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. You need to show your support because only true fans understand the power of this community.